Good morning, grade 7, Matayom 1 students. Welcome to our next lesson for science. Okay, I want you to understand this and watch this repeatedly using your Thai translation. Let me share to you my screen so you can understand what I mean by this. Right here. Okay. As you can see here on your screen, can you see it? All right. Okay. So here's the lesson for this week. I hope you will study this Science Matayom 1, Chapter 7, Atmosphere and Weather, but specifically the lesson this week is topic 7.2 on weather. Okay. So what is weather? Do you know weather? Weather refers to the present state of the atmosphere. It could be sunny or cloudy, windy or still, wet or dry. A complete description of weather includes the type of clouds, temperature, wind, speed and direction, precipitation, humidity, and air pressure. Okay? Now, what is meteorology? Meteorology is the study of the entire atmosphere, including what? Including the weather. So, what is a meteorologist? A meteorologist is a scientist who studies the causes of the weather conditions and also forecasts the weather. Do you want to become a meteorologist? He also studies subjects not directly related to weather, such as the composition of the atmosphere of other planets, and also the causes of the past and present weather. Okay, wonderful. What about weather forecasting? Now you see that in your phone, there's a current weather like 32 degrees Celsius right now. A weather forecast is a prediction about the weather that will be experienced a short period of time in the future. For example, for the next day or the next few days. Okay? So we are dependent on the weather, especially those who work outdoors. Bad or good weather was huge impact or has huge impact on public health, agriculture, occupations, construction, transportation, tourism, recreation, ecosystems, and biodiversity. Can you check your phone or AI? What is the weather like in your place now? What about weather forecasting? Now, weather forecasting is important to predict bad weather. Why is that? The National Weather Service issues weather alerts and advisories that it anticipates approaching severe thunderstorms or tropical cyclones. This helps to protect life and property. Okay? So here, look at that. Weather forecasting is important to pilots, fishermen, and sailors. Why is that? Aviation and marine industries are sensitive to the weather. In general, strong winds, lightning, and high precipitation pose a risk to them, if they don't know the weather. So they can avoid being trapped in severe weather by referring to the weather forecasting. Do you check your phone for the weather forecasting? Now, what about for crop irrigation? Now, agricultural production depends on the weather. Okay? So, weather greatly affects the growth and yield of crops, pests and disease invasions, and the needs of water and fertilizers. Severe weather, such as storms and strong winds, may damage crops and cause soil erosion. Bad weather may affect the transportation and storage of crops. Both weather forecasting, or I should say, with weather forecasting, farmers can predict and plan for crop irrigation, fertilizing, pesticide spraying, and protection. Weather forecasting of wind, humidity, and precipitation also helps in avoiding forest fires. The authorities can issue warning to areas that are prone to forest fires due to the dry weather. Be careful. So, how do you use the weather forecast? Now, it can guide us on what clothes to wear, or if we need to bring umbrellas and what suitable activities that can be carried out in the very near future. Now, we can also prepare ourselves and take precautions for any predicted bad weather conditions, such as heavy rain, cyclones, heat waves, and even droughts. Now, there are thousands of weather stations around the world. These stations record the information about weather. They have instruments to measure temperature, rainfall, wind speed and direction, air pressure, and humidity. Weather forecasting involves a combination of computer models, observations, and knowledge of trends and patterns. Now, look at the weather satellites. Do you know anything about the weather satellites? Now, weather satellites are used in monitoring and predicting the weather. The satellites are launched into the space and left to orbit the Earth. They take pictures of the Earth from the top view and send them back to the weather stations for analysis. I want you to watch this video about how do we monitor the weather from space. You see that? Hey, now that you have watched it, I want you to go to this topic on weather components. What makes up the weather? Do you know? There are six main components of weather. They are air temperature, atmospheric pressure, humidity, speed and direction of wind, cloudiness, and precipitation. So, these components describe the weather conditions at any given time. These factors are affected by many elements, such as the surface of the local area and the distance from big water bodies. They influence each other too. So, meteorologists can make weather forecasts through observing different weather components by using weather instruments. They observe and analyze the collected data to prepare the weather forecast. Now, let's look at into the future. Let's look into the future. What are meteorologists trying to do? Meteorologists are trying to predict weather conditions months and even years into the future. Forecasts are getting more and more accurate and being able to predict weather events well ahead of time. This should help save lives and keep people safe, even you. The research is experimental at the moment, but could one day help us prepare for extreme or unexpected weather well in advance. All right, what about air temperature? Air temperature is a measure of the hotness or coldness of the atmosphere. The air temperature varies at different times of the day and also during different seasons of the year. It varies from place to place too. Air temperature is an important component as it influences other weather components such as precipitation, humidity, and atmospheric pressure. Now, what can be used to measure it? A thermometer can be used to measure the air temperature. Do you have any thermometer at home? What about the atmospheric pressure? The air around us has weight. Atmospheric pressure or air pressure is the amount of force exerted by the weight of the air in the atmosphere on the Earth's surface. Atmospheric pressure can be measured with a barometer. This is a barometer. Have you ever seen it? Now, a higher air pressure indicates sunny and dry conditions, while a lower air pressure indicates approaching stormy or bad weather. Oh, do you have any barometer at home? What about humidity? Humidity is the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. It is affected by our temperature. Without water vapor in the air, we would be living in an environment that has no clouds, rain, and lightning. And so, how does humidity affect us on a hot day? Can you tell me? When the relative humidity is very high, what happens? The air is saturated with water vapor, and the sweat from our body does not evaporate. We will feel warm and sticky. Now, this is a psychrometer. Have you seen any psychrometer? The instrument used to measure relative humidity is called a psychrometer. All right. Now, what about this? Anemometer. Wind is moving air. Okay, the sun heats our earth unevenly. Some places are heated up more than the others. An anemometer is used to measure the speed of wind. Animo means air or spirit. Now, look at this wind vane. What is a wind vane? A wind vane is used to show the direction of the wind, where the wind is blowing from. The wind is also named based on the direction from which it blows. For example, a north wind is a wind that originates in the north and blows to the south. Okay? When the wind changes its direction, it usually brings a change in the weather. Oh, for example, knowing the direction of the wind helps us to predict which direction a storm will travel. Very good. A cloud is made up of tiny water droplets floating in the atmosphere. Now, you know what clouds are now. It is formed when the water vapor condenses to form water droplets in the air. Okay? So, clouds can be classified according to the shapes and heights. What are they? There are many types of clouds such as cirrus cloud, cumulonimbus clouds. There are even more. Each type of cloud is related to a different type of weather. Okay? Look at the cirrus clouds, usually indicate fair to pleasant weather. Look at the cumulus clouds, usually indicate fair weather. And what is this cloud? Cumulonimbus clouds usually produce heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. Okay, have you experienced them? What about what the meteorologists describe? Meteorologists describe the cloud conditions in terms of cloudiness, such as clear or partly cloudy or mostly cloudy. For example, cloudy means that clouds over or cover more than 60% of the sky. The higher the clouds, the better the weather will be. Wow, you like that? What about precipitation? Precipitation is any moisture that falls from the air to the ground. Rain, snow, hail, and sleet are examples of precipitation. The common precipitation in our country is rain. Okay, we don't have snow here. A rain gauge can be used to gather and measure the amount of rainfall in a place over a set period of time. The rainfall is usually measured in millimeters. Now, I want you to see this rain gauge. Okay? These weather components affect each other. For example, the air temperature depends on the cloud cover. With less cloud in the sky, the air can directly heat up the air. Okay, I mean the sun can directly heat up the air. When it is raining with wind blowing, the air temperature will drop. Besides these components, the altitude of a place also affects the local weather. Now, what is an altitude? And altitude is a high, is how high one is above the sea level. Okay? So air temperature decreases as altitude increases. Oh, interesting. So the temperature at Doi Inthanon, I've been there 2 years ago at 2,565 meters altitude, right? Is between 10 to 12 degrees, whereas the average temperature at Phuket, like, is about 27 degrees Celsius. Wow. Yeah, this is very true because when we went to Entanon, that was April, really cold, like almost freezing. Yes. Look, 0 meter altitude, that is sea level, it's equals to 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, at this level, you say 1,000 meters equals 23.5 degrees Celsius. Now, listen, the temperature is going down at 2,000 meters altitude. You see the temperature is 17 degrees Celsius. When it goes up to 3,000 meters, it becomes 10.5 degrees Celsius. That is why Intanon is very cold because it is at this level, right? Now, altitude, you see the altitude that I talked to you about? Affects the air temperature. That is why if you live close to the seashore, it's hotter there than you live there at the top of the mountain. I like to live at the top of the mountain because it's cooler, right? Now, altitude also affects the atmospheric pressure. If you look at the sky, you might think it weighs nothing. Actually, the sky is made up of molecules like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and water. Even though these molecules are very tiny, they have masses. This weight of air pressing on us is the atmospheric pressure. Okay? Now, what happens at the Mount Everest at 8,850 meters? Okay, you see that at Doi Intanon is 2,565 meters. This is the altitude. And so here we have the altitude affects the atmospheric pressure. Okay, now you see here at sea level or the bottom of this layer of air, there is more weight of air and hence more atmospheric pressure at the sea level. Oh, as we travel up, okay, you see the picture here. The atmospheric pressure reduces as there is less air above us. Less air here. There's a lot of air here. At sea level, that's 0 meters, the atmospheric pressure is about 101 kPa, all right? Whereas the top of Doi Intanon, with its 2,565 meters, it is about 74 kPa, all right? And at the top of Mount Everest, it's 8,850 meters, it is about 31, okay? Now you know the air pressure now? There is a lot there, lower or below than there up. I want you to watch this video. It's all about weather. Are you ready? Watch. Cool air versus warm air. Advertisement. Wait, we have to. What is your answer? Right. What is your answer? Right. Okay. Yes. What is your answer? Precipitation. What is your answer? Thunder. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Let's now go to the next topic. But we don't have a workbook, so I want you to go directly to the conclusions. We don't have to mention all of them because you know them already. You can just read them by yourself, but we need to go directly to what we need to answer. So check how much you understand the subtopic by doing the test yourself 7.2 on page 169 of your book. There are four questions. I want you to answer them now and even before you finish this video. Come to me. I'll give you points and post your points in our line group. Okay? That's it for today. See you next time.